Look at that, a light signature setting right there. See the door? See the dimensional line string? See how I like position time these things to the naked eye. It's all set location, sending, and directions. We all have surface hit set location system and how to see everything in a block line setting and set location to a system. All right. So in position locations, it's all about understanding interaction and center communications. All right. So it might be a little bit noisy because I'm in another atmosphere lines and dimension location, universal location, and position location system. Okay, track communications. Now we already have gone through pass line, code line, stream lines, and allocate stream locations. So we're coming to high calculation setting into energetic dome line stream locations. But it's amazing how you see the dimensional door. See how it's connected to a door? Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Look at that. Look at then how to go through the lines of the soul through the light set location system. And the only way you're going to surface of higher calculations, a higher frequency to understand set location system and how these things are set in locations to our mindset. Okay, so we have energetic lines and position attraction. Okay. Dome line centers, epigenetics, surface, set location, high center position, or high position. Now, the operation line stream sets position locations and all those are wind factors. 3 lines of 4 equal line calculations and position of track lines into 1, 2, and 3 set location surface locations and position locations to your permits and set location travel lines. Now, this redirects signals, platitude lines and position locations to higher line connections, high calculations, high settings, and travel communications. Okay, one crossing lines of high set locations 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to bring in Pluto because Pluto is line signaling, it's line sending, or soul drop line centers and positions of operation. Directing lines straight down and set position of its operation signal. Calculation string lines and 3-line position of the factors over calculation string line dilation. Dilation of ground lines and set position locations in settings into your positions to your pyramid line rotation and set location. Okay. Now, indirect signal to its own Hubble of its own capsule of its positions of correlation. Okay, Jupiter line setting. So there's 2 strips lines anomaly in set location system. Okay. Setting correlation settings in direct signal calculation lines is a navigation line, a pod line rotation surface, and triangulation line sets in high position of travel sets. Okay. Directing line signals in high position locations. So we set up a 0 line ground line, operation surface, and positions of point system. Okay, that way equation. All right, so that's setting signal and position of track communication setting. Okay. Direction of time sequence puts position locations of 2 panels of wall lines, rotation surface, and calculation line calculation settings. Right, 4 H centers line interference. It looks like correlation settings of beds, right? Because that's what it is. It's med beds. Mechanism line settings, travel set location and settings, and direct signals in 3 lines of panels and high position of travel calculations in box line rotation surface, indirect signals. Now we position location setting in the opposite direct signals and set location of travel settings. Calculation modifications to the high calculation setting, indirect signals. Operate the service and set location of travel lines. Directing line setting line interference, we cross the string locations in settings and high set line position location and block centers. Block center line rotation center and center interference. So in the center communication system, we come into a position of track line into 1 square line of rotation surface and set locations. Okay. Now in that track line, we set line calculation settings and direct signals. Now we open up the signals into 0 lines in power direction of time sequence. Now that puts position locations into 85 line streams, equal line calculations into pi. Okay, 85 equals pi. 85 line settings, 85 divisions. Okay, because you guys are in your infinity line streams. So it's 5 lines of sectors, 5 lines of calculations, and 5 lines of units instead of travel. Travel sectors, line calculation stream lines, direction of time location line centers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 center line calculation line set in position fractions. Now this high position lines is clock line, rotation surface, and set location with settings. It opens all signals in high position locations. because you guys are an 85 line set, graph line, center line, rotation surface, and calculation line settings in position location to the sun of a new track system to known line setting of a new energetic dome and high surface location setting in direct signals to your moon of operation. Okay, done by equation. All right, so that's going to be traveling line setting. So what I'm doing is what we just said on line interference and set location system. We did the exact same thing, but I'm doing it through structure. You have to understand the structure of digital line layers and sets position travel lines. Box position locations and plateau. Mechanism line centers are record location system. Timestamps and set lines and calculation streamline calculation settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 sectors lines, 5 equals sectors. Okay, sectors line setting. 5 sectors line set location system. So that's 12 line signals and set location of travel lines. Now directing signals of travel lines, and set position, set locations. Directing line settings back in equation line setting. So it's creating position locations to its set lines, guys. You have to really understand how to recognize the position of platforms and set lines at travel settings and redirect signals and set position locations into higher calculation line setting and circle line rotations and center position. Okay, now we got the platform. Platform set up position of travel lines, circle line rotations at 1 billion line centers, a circle location system. So this is where we come into the epigenetic line, center line, and positions into calculation lines, gravitational line streams into northern lights, and 3 waving patterns and set lines at travel settings, resonant cross line streams and second missions. Line calculation streamlines, set calculation stream locations. Okay. Now, if you look really, really close, you can see the phoenix bird. See the phoenix line? So the gravity shift line is changing streamlines. The direction of time sequence playing the calculation streamlines. And that direct signal position location to a set location setting and circle line rotation. Directing position locations and allocating line switching is all about understanding how to use the center calculation lines and set position locations to a triangulations of a sail that's in a new line signal at set locations. Now, directing the lines of platform correlates the set lines in a half pipe high calculation lines and a relay program location settings in 8 lines of 5 and redirect signals in set location of travel. Now, the travel lines and high calculation line interference sets position location as sun. The sun comes into an optical line center line rotation, correlates the set lines of travel lines into the moon, a surface, and travels a line signature lines of Jupiter. The surfacing engine line calculation lines in position of Pluto is in a 2-line stream and direct signals at set locations. Now, in that position of track lines, we change the position of travel lines. This redirects the signal locations and creates an energetic dome in line signal at set location near settings in direct signal. Okay, done by equation. So that's set up the graph lines. We take it a position of travel, still there. So it's all about understanding how to really get into the plasma line setting and position of block line rotations. So it's kind of like Tetris, where we take block lines like this and positions like this. Okay, and you fit them into ground lines of operation. Okay, center correlation setting and direct signals and set location and position. Okay, so it's like Tetris. Signal lines of high center interference, high calculation line positions, crosses line setting in position of arrow direction. Directing line settings is all about understanding how to surface the correlation settings and patterns, the direction of timelines. One computer offline, screen line, and box line rotation at T reception location setting. Redirects panels into box location system. Travel settings, right? So we redirect the coil lines, the resistor location settings, and position locations into 4 set line calculations. We take the 4 line set line calculation setting, lines of box lines, and set line calculation system. We box the 3-line triangle. That sets line calculation into flux capacitor. Line streams its line center line and positions, opens all sequence correlation directions, and high calculation cloud lines into its epigenetic centers of operation line setting location system to your dome line setting in track communication system. Done by equation. See the dome? Now the set of calculation lines that goes through pi, direction of timelines, setting position locations into sector. calculation lines. We split it in one positions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 through pi set location setting, directing 8 line signals and the center line, infinity line, rotation line, and service line in set locations. Okay, so the 8 line center is set location system. See the delta locations? Down by equation. So the 8 routers, line setting, line connections, high system opens up location. Travel lines, line conditions, ground lines, operation of the sun, and set location of settings, and direct signal. Now, directing signal line interference, we set up position locations. So remember the Tetris lines of the calculation of the 3 line, the line, center line, and set locations. The energetic line stream uses line calculations. We split its anomalies and set positions of 1 factor through calculation stream. Redirecting line signals, see? Now in that correlation setting, we redirect the I line setting into a cosmic line set location in its directions. Okay, it's very powerful when you see these through all set location of travel set connections. All right, redirect signals. So in that position locations, we set up another energetic dome. This resurfaces line calculation setting to its ether as ever its permanent. Rotates the surface line calculation streamline into sectors lines of travel setting locations into pi recognition of calculation line setting into new bridge line to new angelic surface. It's like a slinky, right? Woo! So it's pretty incredible how you use a wave. How does it flow, right? Understanding the waves of water, right? Really understand the connection settings of the tone, right? How it goes in and goes back and goes up and goes down and it goes around, right? It's like you're in a bubble, okay, of a high calculation line setting, and it's going through its line position locations of force direction of time sequence, all direct signals to set location travel. Okay, done by equation. Okay. So in circulation high setting, a circulation line position operates its signals, comes in heat signature streams. Now we go to Celsius. Cell line setting, Celsius line, equal line calculation setting. That's 1% over lines calculation into 1% line position of travel settings. Now directing signals, box line changes triangulation, changes the shift in set locations, right? Opens up sequence in setting. See the open sequence? Right to the center position. Okay. So that opens up the box in set location of travel. Now, directing line settings, we set up the calculations to the magnetic line ball, the mechanism line center of the tensor correlation system to its cell lines at rotation surface in set location. Now, in direct signal, we go through sonar lines. Now, the upper line into all calculation sets high position location of plateaus. 1, 2, 3 in position line condition settings. 3 lines, equal lines, calculations, streamline conditions equals 1, 1 equals lines of 4, 4 lines of 3, 3 lines of 4, 4 lines of 3, 4 lines of 3, 4 lines of 3, and 3 equals 7 location setting directions. Now, in that signal line interference, we take the 3 lines and graph line stream locations and 6 lines at correlations in one panel. One panel positions and 2 track location settings and directions. Now, in that direct signals, we take the position line condition system and 12 line signature stream location line settings into calculations of a wave line streamline set location. Now, that direct signals goes through the opposite line rotation and correlation setting, setting up a new lines of panel to a position location of portal line and streamline calculation setting line and self calculation stream. Now, in that direct signal, we set up a new open line signal, high calculation lines to 7 line perimeters and position location of program settings, redirect signal set locations. So the energetic Hubble line rotation, center lines is communication setting, and position locations of 8 pi generations and 5 set locations. Put in track communication setting in direct signal a set location. Okay? So it's really interesting how you see these things are all set at position of travel lines, guys. It's amazing how you go through equation lines of formula. It's all through 7 perimeter line rotations. So the center calculation changes line setting. You have to be very cautious because you're using heat signature line streams. It's the calculation position is operated through the line setting. The energetic dome line sets the streamline position locations in the 12 signature line streams into your rainbow graph location of center position. Okay? So the energetic line ball goes into the center, travels lines in 4 signature streams. Center of 2, center online center location of 3, and stops in the center position location of 4 into an ether line channel of operation surface and set locations. Look at that, disappeared. 2 line channels changed to position location measured. Back in center line and rotation surface, see the metabolic line stream location into its data line of its rotation surface and set locations. All right, very powerful set locations. Okay. Cinematography line sets a new light setting to dome setting in position of track lines. Yes, exactly what it is in such locations there. Very, very powerful set locations. Okay, it's all set up. So in that position locations, we go through the star lines, star lengths, star panels, and set location of travel lines in position of all calculation setting and directions. All right, so that directs its signals. Now directing signals through the high calculation of ground lines, the operations and set lines, calculation stream locations. We bring in the ground lines. The growth themes come in line signal. Now they come in position location centers. They're in the low gravity line stream. 2 position line conditions of travel and 1 position line centers and norms new set location. Down by equation. Okay. It's amazing how you set these things up through equation, guys. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so that's traveling out. Gone, but still there. Right? So how are we doing through track communications? All right, let's see here. Signal panels, setting lines, battle, calculation lines, high position locations, schematics, travel lines, stream lines, set lines, Geneva, calculation, high interference, Hendel, Gingy, Prismar, set lines and communications, settings and directions, Bojan, Prismar. It's great to see everybody. Directing lines, signals, and position panels of operation stream locations. So everything that I'm saying is understood location of travel lines. Look at that. Look at the dimensional door. That's just the frame, but that is an opening to a frame to another dimension location setting through a calculation. See? It's light, but it's a geometric shape, isn't it? And if I turn it slightly, you actually see the picture frame. But it's showing you exactly how you see a dimensional door to the other side. So you're looking at the picture, you're looking through the picture, right? So if there's a door line signature stream locations, let's go position line settings, track communication to a system. Okay, see? It's exactly what it is in set locations, right? It's exactly the same thing. So in that direct signal, you have to understand that it set lines in the communication system. And truly understand that everything is created through a black hole, guys. Black holes are created through line signature and line interference. You can turn light into a black hole. You just have to understand the light force and the dark force is set location to its settings. But see, the thing is, your eye changes your line signals and set locations. So a black hole creates a tunnel line and travel position location to high center interference and set location to positions location to its system. Okay, that's what it is. Right? That goes through line setting and set locations. Now it sets up a 45 line setting in percentage over pi. Now that's redirect signals. Setting direct signal line interference sets up the position locations to its center lines into an epi line setting in position of row graph stream locations to its system and travel calculations. So it comes into its own location grid in line position. It has to come into the location grid. Everything that you go through is location grid. That protects you when you go across the streamlines into positions. And the dimensional door opens up more signal panels of set location. Right? So it's like, right? You go through it, right? So going through that light signature lines, I have to go through a black hole. The black hole creates its line position. It opens up its position line calculation setting and direct signals. And when you understand that, it comes into set location setting. So you're traveling very fast at Mach line speed, acceleration line stream in set location. Okay, all through a dimensional door of set location. Okay? So it's very powerful how to go through these things, guys. I just wanted to show you how you see frames through its geometric of its operation of its own design. Because what I'm looking at is its intelligence of its frame. Everything is light through signature stream locations. So all you have to understand is understand the friendship, relationship, and partnerships of black holes, wormholes, or connection settings. We even have potholes. Pothole line rotation is position of track lines. It's the center lines and high calculation travel lines. Gravity reline, shift line, and streamline and set location settings of underground location. Now, in that set line calculation setting, sets of wave line signatures, alpha line, delta, theta, 3 line signals, 4 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines, 8 line connection settings, and direct system. Now, it's all about understanding to create the line stream is set position of travel settings and position location to a setting interference. Now, redirect signals of sonar line and rotations. It's all calculated to modify how you set up electrical line streams to set location line system. Because when you're looking at things, nothing is but a holographic lens and line calculation setting and direct signal to set locations. That's all it is. So understanding that positions, this is what it comes into, set locations. Okay? So you really have to understand how this all works for you. Understand the portals, understand the wormhole. This is a wormhole, another line setting. Okay? And this is calculated modify. Circle line rotations, circle line rotations, circle line rotations. Now you got 4 line signature lines, right? Indirect signals. Now these are data line streams, mechanism line centers. These are magnetic highways and set location of travel settings. Comes in as spider ops line stream locations in the system. Now the electrical line and line rotation interference is 1 block line setting, calculation position of travel sets, and position of travel and connection setting and directions. Now when you're directing line signatures, you have to really understand how to travel through a portal communications to a black hole that sets a communication line setting and direct signal of set locations. Okay, so there's all different ways of traveling through line position location system. People understand what's in a black hole. Well, you know exactly what it is in set location system. You have to understand the friendship location of all levels of seeing yourself through blind lines, anything through calculation stream locations, or anything through light signature patterns. It's going through line centers of dark into the light. So its position of track lines. See, black holes are fantastic because you can center line its communications and change its direct signal and line signals in set location to its measure. The positions of the track line changes plateaus and information panels. The operation surface changes correlation setting and direct signals to its operation surface line and triangulation and set positions to its operation. See? Look how powerful it is. All through a black hole. See, a black hole is just basically an optical lens. That's all it is. It's kind of like when you see a camera and you're looking through the camera, and basically when you're getting into frame lines, you see the black, and then you go up higher, 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 you see the black silhouette line setting. Well, that's correlation setting interference until you get it into focus. And once you get into focus, it comes in calculation setting and direct signal. So a black hole is not actually black. You just think it's black. Okay, a black hole is a light signature line pattern that sets direct signals in set location system. Has nothing to do with a black hole. Okay, there's all different ways of seeing a variation line set location. You get lost in transition as a black hole, but what you're going through is not being understood, is not understanding what's going on through confusion. So if you're missing something through calculations, like I said, it's very powerful. I said that before too, like in dark matter. Dark matter is created through thought lines that don't recognize the time sequence times pattern. The correlation system, the placebo cortex location near strings. It's calculated and modify how you see your set location system to its measure. The correlations of measure is to understand how to use your signal line position locations of going forward. Because if you're not going forward, you're going back in set location setting directions, right? So if you're going back in line center line interference, this in position location would change the system. This would change the shape because it sees you going back and not forward. So that position locations would not be a door. Okay? So we all have to understand the density line setting. It's all kept in mind by how we see everything in provisional location line settings through its set location system. Intelligence line center location of the lamp, signature line streams, line strip. See the line strip lines? Everything has a line stream. So in position of track lines, if you look at my eye lines, 2 line signatures right here, right? They connect, right? Connect right to that door and back right to that tip of my lens, of my glasses, 2 position locations here. Everything is line signature. Okay? So if you understand that, then you understand the mechanism, line, setting line, and rotation surface and set location system. So when you go through that dimensional door, you know exactly what's on the other sideline setting. If you look at the bottom line, you can see the crevice locations. Okay? You look really, really close. That is your earth line. That is your earth line. This is you above. This is the earth line. That is your earth line. So when you go through dimensional line interference, you're out of the ether line rotation surface into a core line setting. Indirect signal to set location's position. Right? So you all have to go through a black hole. See, I give you what you need to understand is to be understood. But to understand anything is through the eye of what you see through an imaginary line, through travel locations. Okay? So I just wanted to show you how powerful it is and what you see set location system. You get lost in transition, you're in position location in its center line. Okay, there's so many ways to look at yourself as metaphorically. Everything's metaphorically, but it's all calculated by how to really balance yourself in positions of your energy, your frequencies, your vibrations, your harmonics, and everything in set location system to your thoughts. If your thoughts get in mixture patterns in set location line settings, it gets lost in transition or translation, like position locations, you forget something. You're lost in system. That's all it is. That's all it is. The avatar is just lost in its own dimensional line, rotation, surface, and set travel calculations. This is you in the center, getting lost and not remembering what you just did, what you're connected to in set location line settings. You're traveling, but you're lost in position. Right? And then see, the thing is, everything light has a vacuum. It's like it sucks you in. It sucks you in. Now, if you understand that, you're always going to be traveling through your calculations, your earth perception. This is your earth planes. Everything above is in set locations, right? Earth planes. See the line crevice, right? You got to go beyond the invisible eye. That's the only way you're going to see things line streams. So this is what it looks like in locations. Let's go through dimensional door line again. Okay, set a position of traction. Looks like that, right? Now, this is your track line. This is your earth on the ground positions. That's exactly what it is. Okay, it's exactly what it is. So when you go through the center line and you go up. This is you. Okay, this is you and your avatar. Whee! See, that's exactly what it is. And what it does, it scans its own system and it goes through its black hole of set location of travel setting. Okay, and then it can come back in positions to its system. Right, travel line sending it back into its earth or rotation. Right, all through a dimensional door. Okay. Isn't that amazing when you see your line signatures and set location of your system? To see the imaginary line to everything through its phenomenon. But it's incredible when you understand these things, right? Through travel, right? Or you can go through a signature line, right? You have a tether communication to your earth, right? You're always connected to your earth. So that sets line centers. This puts you in position of track lines and your set positions to your pod at teleportation stream location. Okay. Now in that direct signal, you can travel through set position. This is you in the center, going to another dimension of another universe line connection. See? You go through, right? You go through. And then you come back. That's all it is. It's not complicated, right? Stop thinking with the line signals. Start understanding how to see things beyond the position of recognition, all through calculations, through the dimensional door of light. Okay? All right. Levels, yeah, and signals, panels, high operation, stream location settings, and directions. See, the thing is, guys, you have to get not just into your imagination, but understand how to travel through anything in this location system. Right? You don't look at this, you look at me. So, for example, give me high set locations. Right? Now, as you see it, right? Look at it. Right? I'm inside. Hello. I'm inside the dimensional door. Hi everyone. How you doing? Right? So I've already traveled and I feel my energy line. My energy line is going through the black hole. The signature lines are going through dimensional line settings and set location system. I've already left the Earth perception settings and set location to a system. Now I'm in the dimensional line across in stream, set location system, through a dimensional line signal to a set locations. Okay? Hello. Okay? That's how powerful it is when you understand your system locations, right? So in that set locations, where did I go? Where am I now? Right? Where am I now? Okay, I'm everywhere in set location of travel. Right? That's why you don't see the light shade shadows of me anymore until I go back in position locations to its setting. Hello. Okay. Now you understand the set location setting and directions to its set location to its system. Okay. Right here, okay, is the door, right? So you have to see the door to understand what's going on. And when you see the door, you touch it and set location line settings, it sees you in fraction, a position of attraction. It sees you in your body of consciousness in set location system. Okay. And then you go back in location into its dimensional door setting. Hello. Okay. And position of track communications with line setting. So I just wanted to show you how powerful it is, what can happen when you go through a dimensional door line setting. Okay? Okay. But see, that's the thing. You see it, right? But do you see what's beyond it? That's what I'm saying. Okay? To understand that is to see beyond. And don't look at things. Look beyond things. Okay? Really understand how powerful it is to see the travels of the mind, of conception. That's the only way you understand anything through your imagination location settings and set locations. Okay? So, just a little bit of an experiment for you guys. Everything is travel is track line settings. Yes. Yes, it is. It's amazing when you see these line signature line conditions all through dimensional door. You actually see the Earth. I just showed you exactly what you have to see. You have to see their perceptions until you travel in set locations. So seeing beyond is going beyond. Okay. So you have to start with that first to really understand, to see these things is to know that you're already there at set locations. Okay. Setting up the perimeters and parameter line interference in your grounds of operation surface puts you in direct signals of where you're supposed to be in all set locations to its dimensional door of its light calculation setting. You explain to me why that looks like a door. Where is that light coming from? Where is it coming from? Is it coming? So much to see, okay? direct signal locations. That's the most important, creates the emotional line. So I'm just showing you exactly what you need to understand position attractions. But I just want you to be aware of what you guys are up against now. Okay, really understand how to get in position location modification. Okay. Always find a way to see yourself in set locations. That's it. We're done. Tomorrow we'll get in high signature line streams. We'll get you into your energetic line waves and positions all levels of calculation stream locations into 9 signals. That just puts in positional levels of formation line set locations into your set position. It's also going to put you into an energy wash of calculation lines and into your mainframes, the high calculations. All right? Adios.